Good day everyone, I am Clarence Castillo Balinayos and I will be your instructor for today. In our today's discussion, we are going to talk about the three general types of sentences, which are the simple sentence, compound sentence, and complex sentence. But before we move on to this main topic or to this topic, let us first define what we are talking about here, which is the sentence. Am I right? So let us define what is a sentence. Before or since the world began, or should I say since in our elementary days, we define sentence as simple as this. A set of words that has a complete thought, and that's it. And that's also the main problem here. Why? Because maybe for some, this definition is enough. But still the fact that this definition is still another resources or another point in order to supplement it. And with that note, we have here the definition coming from the online dictionary, wherein they define a sentence not just a set of words, but also a phrase that is complete in itself, typically containing a subject, a verb, and an object, conveying a statement, question, command, and exclamation. So after we having a quick recap on what is a sentence and where we gotta use a sentence, let us now move on to our main agenda for today's discussion, which is the three general types of sentences. So now let us first talk about the simple sentence. Simple sentence, guys, has the most basic element to call it a sentence. Why should I say so? Because simple sentence only containing these three. Always remember these three. A subject, a verb, and an object that makes a sentence completed its thought. So for further explanation or further explanation, we have your example of a simple sentence containing these three. Pia prepares a food. As I said earlier, simple sentence only containing subject, a verb, and an object. We have here in this sentence that the subject is Pia, the verb is prepares, and the object is a food. So that's it. Don't be confused by that. Simple sentence always usually containing these three. But guys, there are some instances or some cases wherein in this simple sentence, we use compound subject, compound verbs, prepositional phrase, and other elements to lengthen the simple sentence. So, why I mean when I say compound subject or compound verbs, it just means that there are two subjects and two verbs used in a sentence, but still it is a simple sentence. Later on, I will going to show you example of it. While prepositional phrase, guys, prepositional phrase are phrase that have preposition at the beginning of it. Usually, you can easily identify it is a prepositional phrase, like what I'm saying. There is a preposition at the beginning of the phrase. As I promised, I am now going to show you a simple sentence wherein it contains a compound subject, compound verbs, and a prepositional phrase on it. In this example or in this sentence, Pia and they arrived at the bus station early but waited until noon for the bus. The compound subjects used in this sentence are Pia and they, while the compound verbs used in this sentence are the words waited and arrived. And the prepositional phrase used in this sentence is the phrase at the bus station. Like what I said earlier, or as I stated earlier, prepositional phrase can be easily identified because of its preposition or the usage of preposition. Guys, don't be confused by this. It's still a simple sentence because, however, it is long, quite long, but still it's follow a subject, a verb, and an object. In addition, simple sentence is also referred to independent or independent clause, which means that simple sentence can stand on its own without having another sentence. Compound sentence refers to a sentence that have two independent clauses or two complete sentences on it, and it's connected using a coordinating conjunction. We defined already what is an independent clause. Independent clause are a sentence or a clause which can stand alone. Now, what we are having right now is a coordinating conjunction. I know, guys, that there's a question here on your mind that what is a coordinating conjunction, right? Guys, coordinating conjunctions are the words that serves as a bridge between one sentence to another in order to connect them as one. Coordinating conjunctions can be familiarized using the acronym FAN voice. What FAN voice stands for? The letter F stands for A for N for North, B for bat, O for or, Y for yet, and S for so. Let's move on to its example. Pia waited for the bus, but the bus was late. As you've noticed in this example, I divided them on a three part. Because in order for you to easily understand what I stated here, that compound sentence is containing a two complete sentence and a coordinating conjunction. In this sentence, you can see that I use a first complete sentence, which is Pia waited for the bus. The word but acting as a coordinating conjunction in our five points. And the other complete sentence here is the bus was late. As you can see, this sentence is a compound because it uses again a two complete sentence and a coordinating conjunction. We are now at the last part of this topic. Let us now proceed to the last part, which is the complex sentence. Complex sentence is made up of an independent clause and a dependent clause. So now the question is, what is dependent clause? Dependent clause is quite similar to independent clause, but it lacks one of the elements that would make it a complete sentence. They are called dependent clause because they really need to depend themselves in order to stand alone, unlike the independent clause that in itself it can stand alone. Dependent clause usually or containing subordinating conjunctions on it. And these words are the sum or the most common subordinating conjunctions used. So to be able for you to easily identify dependent clause, there are words in this that connects them or place at the beginning of it in order for you to identify if it is a dependent clause or not. Some of you may ask that, Sir, who will come first, the dependent clause or independent clause? And the answer to that question is, it's either the two, guys. Both of them can be passively placed at the beginning and or at the end of the sentence because it still completed its thought. But, guys, remember this. There's a rule with that. If the sentence followed this pattern, dependent clause first, followed by independent clause, the sentence need to use comma in order to separate the two clauses. On the other hand, if the sentence followed independent clause first, followed by dependent clause, there's no need to ask for use comma in order to separate them. Let us now move on to its example. In this example, it follows the pattern dependent clause followed by independent clause. Because Pia arrived at the bus station before me, I did not see her at the bus station. As you've noticed, there is a subordinating conjunctions at the beginning of the sentence. So that there's already a clue here that first clause is a dependent clause. So that we really need to use the comma. Because that's the rule. We really need to use the comma if the dependent clause comes first before independent clause. So now let's proceed to the second sentence where it follows a dependent clause first before the dependent clause, wherein we will no more need to use comma. I did not see her at the bus station because Pia arrived at the bus station before noon. So here, as you notice, I did not use comma anymore because the rule says that there's no need. For a quick recap, we tackled about the three general types of sentences, which are the simple sentence, compound sentence, and a complex sentence. Wherein a simple sentence, it contains a subject, a verb, and the object that makes it a complete sentence, or makes it a sentence completed its thought. Compound sentence, wherein it contains two independent clause or two complete sentence connected using a coordinating conjunction and that can be familiarized using a word or the acronym FAN boys. And the last part, we tackled about the complex sentence wherein it is contains two clause, an independent clause and an dependent clause, wherein it's either one of them can be placed at the beginning or at the end. There's no problem on that. And that's for today's discussion. I hope you learned a lot something from me and shall we call it a day. Goodbye.